Carla and Sebastian here. We are at Project Jewel. This is a project we're doing here in Burlington, a bungalow. This is actually the original owners of the bungalow. They first bought it from the builder, so we're taking it from like, I don't know, the 60s, 70s, and we're bringing it to 2022.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting project, so follow us along and we'll show you what we're doing.
All right, so when we finish, you guys will see obviously all the walls come out, but what we're doing here is we're revamping the layout, right? This used to be her previous dining room, and because it's a small bungalow, we're really opening it up and making more like a great space area. So where I'm standing now, we're gonna have an island in front of me, the sink there, the refrigerator behind me, whole different layout. But you know what? Even with a small space, we can do wonderful things and make it look amazing.
So with older homes like this, there's always a chance that there may be asbestos in some of the building materials that were used. So it's always best to get these things tested before actually disturbing the material and going forward with demolition. Right here, our concern is the linoleum, the tile, and the glues that were used in this floor. So we're getting that checked out before we continue with any more demolition.
So I love these post-demo days where we can see what's behind the wall. So obviously old wallpaper, probably from like the 60s, 70s. So I love seeing these old relic stuff. And a milk box. Our client actually did use this when her kids were little. The milkman did come and bring the milk here. Now behind this is a new garage, but yeah, you really get to see some fun stuff post-demo. We're back, job is complete. We are going to walk you through what everything looks like.
Yeah, it looks great in there. Come on in and let's show you around. So when we came into this home, the spaces were very compartmentalized. We had our dining room section right over here with a wall where I'm standing right now, and this was the kitchen section previously. In order to remove everything, we did have to get an asbestos test because of the age of the home, and it turned out we did have some asbestos in the stucco. So always make sure to get a test done when you're working with homes that are in that time category. So essentially what we did is we recessed the beam into this area, as this was a load-bearing wall, and flushed the ceiling out, opened up everything completely to create this grand kitchen space.
So even though it's a smaller space, we were really able to optimize and create this really beautiful kitchen that flows beautifully. And then the client, instead of having a formal dining room and a separate breakfast area, now they have this beautiful big size kitchen, still have a nice size dining room table, so when they are entertaining, it's still a great function for them. I'm gonna point out some fun things in the kitchen for you. So the overall style and aesthetic of the kitchen, we went with an off-white, so not a super stark white, still off-white, a little bit more of a neutral tone, and then we matched it beautifully with this quartz countertop that complemented the colors and gives you a nice little contrast. The backsplash is a white subway tile, again just creating a lot of brightness and airiness in the home. And I'm going to show you a couple of the fun accessories. So on this side, garbage pulls are super common, we do them all the time, but what's really unique about this one is there's a cutting board on top, also with an area to then put all of your scrap foods right down into the garbage. So super handy. The client actually had a cutting board in her original kitchen, so this was one of those must-have things that we're able to now incorporate again for her. A few other fun features, as you can see here, rollouts are really great, very convenient for accessing any items, accessing any small appliances, and these can be added to really any cabinet. We also have this corner here. So we call it a magic corner, okay? This one comes in a maple wood, but we have them in all types of options where you can have metal wire, and again, utilizing the corner spaces really beautifully and then having them be able to completely pull out so nothing gets stuck in the back and they're not these dead, useless corners. Super handy. And then here at the sink, a nice little feature is the tip out drawer. So So these tip out drawers are awesome. They are stainless steel, so yes, you can put your wet rags in there. It's not gonna damage the cabinetry. And then it's nicely concealed, so your top countertop is nice and clear. Pot drawers are also key. We essentially design them in most of the kitchens we do because they're super functional. The top is a smaller drawer, and then the two underneath, as we call them, pot drawers. You can store all your pots in there, or Tupperware is another great use for these large size drawers. On this side, we went with a shallower pantry. Again, pantries are really common and useful, you know, where you're gonna put your food, your cans, all your items like that, right? So great use for this, really nice and big. And then we also had a matching floating shelf. The client loves her plants, really wanted a nice, this is previously where she had a bunch of her plants already close to the window. So we gave her this nice floating shelf. Also another place for her cat to hang out. So above the fridge is always this, you know, dead space, right? So it's quite high. What are you gonna store in there? You don't want things that get lost or food or cereals, but this is the perfect way to use it. We can give you tray dividers. You put your trays up there. It's nice and deep and really easy to access.
So we added a bunch of lighting in the space. It really calls for it now that everything's open and wide. So we've got 4-inch LED pot lights throughout, all on dimmers, which and it's broken up into individual sections, which is really nice. So you really get the lighting that you need where you need it. We've got 2 beautiful pendant lights over top of the island, and we have our under cabinet lighting underneath the upper cabinets here, as well as this individual pot light over the sink area when specifically working for the sink. Another great feature with this project was the flooring. So we installed click vinyl flooring. It's called True Grout by Quick Style. And the great feature about this is that it really does look like a tile. You have your grout lines and it looks and feels like a real tile.
The nice thing with vinyl is it's not as cold as real porcelain. Porcelain could be quite cold on the feet in the winter, and with it being vinyl, it's actually very warm and a little bit also better on your knees, not as hard as a porcelain tile.
Nice and soft.
So these are really my favorite type of projects where we really get to transform, you know, a whole main living space with a really dramatic, you know, before and after. So I love when we can really show what there was before and now this really drastic change. Again, the house doesn't have to be huge to get a really great change in the space, and to get new function, new flow. So these are really my favorite type of project.
Yeah, I really like these projects too. It really lets people see the potential of their space even though they can't envision it before. So we help people do that, and I think it's a great thing that we can really bring this kind of vision to life.
Yeah, definitely. So with all the work we do in the preliminary phases, we're showing clients different layouts, different options. That's really where we work with them on the whole design process. We typically will show clients about 3 different layouts, and they'll typically pick and choose aspects of various layouts, and then we refine it to that perfect layout and that perfect plan, and then it's execution time for the team. So the team did a great job. I really am really happy with how everything turned out, the quality of finishings, and on to the next one.
On to the next one. Good job.